What's up guys, Mr. User here. Now I've made a video like this in the past regarding specifically Maximum Football and some of the missing aspects to that game that would make it better. I'm in a few Discords now, specifically following a few of these indie football games, and a lot of people have some really great ideas for the games overall, how they would like their players to progress, different modes that they want to see. Specifically today, I'm talking about gameplay. I'm talking about the football that happens between the white lines, and I want to give you some insight to some core pillars that I think these games may not necessarily have or should add to make these games the best versions of football that they can possibly make. Now, I'm not talking about perfection. I'm not talking about making a 2K like game engine with realism and simulation, but what I'm talking about is bringing together different little aspects of football to create a product that's realistic on the field if you're simulating that kind of stuff. So let's jump into it. Keep this video from getting too long, so we're going to start on the offensive and defensive lines here. We're going to be mainly looking at the right side of the offensive line here. We're going to get a double team block at the point of attack here, and I really love the way that this block plays out. Now, as you can see here, you get the double team. This defensive tackle actually eats this and basically creates almost like a pile like situation. I don't see enough piles in these games to simulate run game good enough. This is just another example from Madden 08 PS3 where these two are going to get a double team at the point of attack. It's actually going to create a downed lineman scenario here where you have to manually hurdle this player or you will fall down to the ground. I hate to keep reverting back to Madden 2010 here, but this is a really good video that I found showing some of the block steering, as they called it. Now, this is basically like an elite tackle going against an edge rusher. You can see how wide this arc is that the edge rusher is forced to take. And then the next clip, you're going to see basically more like a elite edge just turning the corner on this guy, and he really has no chance. You can see how narrow the path is. That would be more like an elite edge rusher. This is the kind of stuff I'd love to see incorporated. I know specifically Axis Football has some RPO stuff, so here's an example of some edge surf technique from the defensive end. As you can see, he's playing the quarterback, then he basically gets to the ball. Very cool stuff, and I think it's mandatory if you're going to have some sort of zone block RPO scheme in your game. This is almost like a mandatory, logic that you have to have in the game. This last clip is of All Pro Football 2K8, and I just want to show you how much diversity takes place within this game's blocking schemes, especially on just like a basic run play. I mean, just look at all of the chaos that is taking place here. You have a chop block, you have a backside block, you have a bull rushed offensive lineman, players getting push-pulled, you have an extended block here with some guys coming up into the box. The running back has to make a true read and juke. It's not just like Madden where it's just animation-based garbage that it autopilots you to the end and you could speed boost and stuff. This is an example of like really good, hard to read run game stuff, logic that needs to be in some of these football games. This is just a personal preference of mine, but I think the games, even in current gen, even if they're indie games, have to have some basic level of a gang tackle, just something to register more than two players being a one-on-one tackling drill. Here you can see this is Madden 08's gameplay engine teaser that they posted. I have better footage of that, but just a couple of these. I mean, I'm talking about like a basic win, a basic loss animation. Here's one just getting stood up inside of a hole. Just some stuff like that, just to give the game a little bit of just diversity to it in the run game, pass game, just wherever on the field. Gang tackling is a pretty steep request, especially in the state a lot of these games are in, but even if you can't add gang tackling, just something to where like a second player could even like come in and just latch on to the tackle, or just put his arms out or throw a shoulder in or something and just bounce off of the collision, just to give some sort of feedback that there's more than two people in the field interacting, would just be such a huge visual upgrade to these games. couple basic examples of just some press coverage, some bump and run from linebackers, passing players through zones. This is an old video I really liked too. This is Madden 2010, their jostling system, which I guess they just brought back for the new Madden. You know, what a shocker, recycling animations. But something like this just to help these defenders be able to play coverage just a little bit better, to keep these super duper speedy receivers from just running by people and making speed the only trait that matters. I think one issue that Maximum had during its lifespan was you weren't able to like beat on the receivers when they're already going through their overpowered catch animations. Here you can see a couple of examples from like the older Madden 08 games. Just these guys would get punished going up for some of these passes. Now I'm not saying to, you know, nerf the receiver's ability to go get the ball, but the defenders need the ability to go up and attack these players, to just give them a fair chance to be able to play coverage and play some defense. Another very frustrating issue I had with Maximum is the inability to disguise any kind of coverages. Here you can see in even Madden 2005, you could choose to basically bring your safeties up into the box. Here's an example from current gen college football, to where you can basically shift a safety in the box to show like a cover 3 look. I don't think I want to get into like anything super complex disguising coverages to the degree that you can in college football 26 and 7 and stuff, but just letting us be able to walk a safety into the box, even if he's in a man coverage technique, like letting us choose that would be great.